Coming up next on Making Moves, North Florida gets $78 million to help fix one of its worst traffic nightmares. Find out where. A new day has dawned at JTA as the authority's new leadership team takes over. Customers say, "Gimme shelter," and JTA delivers. And learn how one spark may ignite an explosion of creativity that launches Jacksonville onto the world stage. I'm Joyce Morgan Danford. Those stories and much more next on Making Moves. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Making Moves. I'm Joyce Morgan Danford. JTA Chief Executive Officer Nat Ford is here and will be joining me in just a moment. But first, our top story. Exactly 42 years after JTA began construction on what would become one of the most important roadways in our region, J. Turner Butler Boulevard, Governor Rick Scott announces that he is dedicating $78 million to help unclog that heavily congested interchange at Butler and Interstate 95. The interchange handles 150,000 vehicles a day, and as anyone who drives through that area already knows, it's one of the worst rush hour trouble spots in Northeast Florida. JTA has been working on design plans for the interchange. Those plans are now being turned over to Florida Department of Transportation, who will manage that project going forward.
There is savings within FDOT's work program that's related to strategic intermodal systems dollars, SIS dollars, which the JTB I-95 interchange is a part of that system. And so with those savings, the department was able to move up or move over the JTB project.
The governor said the money would become available next year and construction would start in 2015 and take about 3 years to complete. Now, the key feature of the project will be construction of a new elevated flyover ramp connecting southbound I-95 with eastbound Butler lanes. You'll remember that about 3 years ago, JTA installed new Q lanes on I-95 between Bowden Road and JTB to collect the 24,000 vehicles that exit there daily. But despite this temporary fix, congestion is still a major issue. The flyover will allow traffic to flow continuously from Interstate 95 south to eastbound Butler without stopping. Meanwhile, westbound traffic will also see some new relief. A new overpass is planned to take motorists from Butler to northbound I-95 by bypassing that current bottleneck where Belford Road and Butler meet. Northbound I-95 traffic heading west on Butler will now have a traffic light to control their movement rather than the current U-turn at the Belford Road overpass. DOT has dropped its plans to charge tolls to pay for the project. Transportation Secretary Aneth Prasad said that the department decided against tolls because neither I-95 nor Butler is currently a toll road. This $78 million project will not include fixes to the Butler and US 1 interchange that were part of JTA's original design plan. And let's bring in JTA Chief Executive Officer Nat Ford. And Mr. Ford, let's talk about it. What are your thoughts on the governor's announcement?
I think it's a great announcement. This intersection has needed the work. We've been working on it as the JTA, laying the groundwork, doing preliminary design and engineering work, and now the funding is there to complete much needed improvement.
So let's be real. Do you think without JTA's design and all of this work that we've done in the beginning, do you think this money would have ever come to Jacksonville?
No, not at all. I think it was critical to have the project progress to the point that it was, so that when funding became available, we could immediately do the improvement. The preliminary work in terms of the public outreach had to be in place, the coordination with Florida DOT. So all of those factors were taken care of and allowed for the funding to be presented to us and the project to move forward.
Absolutely. Okay, now that the project is moving forward, the Florida Department of Transportation is taking the lead.
Right.
What does that mean for JTA? Where will we be in this process?
I think that still remains to be determined. However, in that we did a lot of the preliminary work, Florida DOT will have to rely on some of the work that we've done, so we will be there as a resource. And I think going forward, we will continue to be there if they need our assistance in moving the project forward.
The I-95 and JTB interchange isn't the only major project getting funded. The state is allocating more than $145 million to replace the left-hand exits with flyover ramps at the I-95-295 North interchange. Now, those improvements will allow for higher speeds and better capacity. It also will allow for future expansion of both interstates. Construction on this project is planned for 2016. And more than $51 million has been programmed to extend State Road 23 between I-10 and Beaver Street on Jacksonville's west side. You may know State Road 23 as Cecil Commerce Center Parkway. This project will provide access to I-10 from the many businesses that are along Beaver Street, as well as a connection to the Cecil Commerce Center. And this project has a summer 2015 target date for construction. Nearly 100 Southbank area residents and business owners packed the Wyndham Hotel Conference Center to hear more about the proposed bus rapid transit route plan for that area. After hearing an update from project manager Neil Nance, the group aired their concerns about various issues regarding the project, including the so-called rapid part of the bus rapid transit.
When it is implemented, the buses won't travel any faster than our regular buses. But they'll stop less frequently and they will have more frequent service. So it's better for the customer. You get to move quicker through the city. You have improvements such as technology improvements that allow the signalization to work better and allow the bus to move more efficiently through the quarter. But they're not faster buses.
Thoburn says he and his team are now meeting with a smaller focus group to work out details on how the project may be improved, specifically in the areas of pedestrian safety and aesthetics. The downtown BRT project, which currently includes the Southbank, will also feature some new hybrid buses. Now, both the downtown and north portions of the BRT are expected to clear final design this year, with construction and implementation by the end of 2014. Okay, back with CEO Nat Ford now. You were at the meeting. You heard a lot of interest in this project. You heard people have a lot of questions, a lot of comments. So what do you think?
Well, I think any project, we should entertain a lot of public input. I am a Southbank resident, and while I sat in the meeting, I heard a lot of perspectives in terms of how we could take what is a good project and make it a great project. So we welcome the input, and we look forward to working very closely with them. And that will be the process in the future with all of our major projects.
Okay, so what do you think, though? Do you think we're going to come to some kind of solution that's equitable for everyone?
I'm clearly optimistic that we will come up with a solution that all parties can feel comfortable with. The residents there in the Southbank, our greater transportation customers for the JTA, and the staff working all collaboratively together to come up with a project.
Okay. The new Clay County Park and Ride facility is now complete and awaiting final details to be worked out between JTA and Clay County officials before full express bus service begins. Now, this facility is located on County Road 220 near Fleming Island in southern Clay County. Besides the express bus service to Jacksonville, the facility will also serve as a hub for Clay Transit and as a carpool connection point. Eventually, the facility, which is built adjacent to the CSX rail line, is expected to serve as a commuter rail station.
I mean, dating back to the 1800s, there was a stop there for a train that went down from Jacksonville to Orlando. Back then it was the Atlantic Coastline Railroad. So the station name was Black Creek Station. And so that's how we picked out the name Black Creek Park and Ride Lot. When we talk about the possibility of commuter rail maybe in the future, utilizing that as a station, park and ride lot there, and maybe, some mixed-use type development. Yeah, it's almost like we're recreating the past.
The official dedication is expected sometime next month. And back with JTA CEO Nat Ford now. So how important is a facility like this one in Clay County when we're talking about regional transportation and opening up this whole regional idea to all the counties?
I think it's great. Clearly, the Clay County folks, they're focusing on the future. They're looking at the greater regional picture, and I'm excited about this opportunity. I think in terms of Clay County, the location of this park and ride facility clearly sets it up to consider commuter rail in the future. So I applaud them.
And happy 24th birthday to one of JTA's proudest achievements. It was March 10th, 1989, that one of this region's most significant engineering achievements was open to the public. Of course, we're talking about the Dames Point Bridge. More than 17,000 vehicles a day use the bridge that, believe it or not, some folks used to call the bridge to nowhere. It's hard to imagine not having the Dames Point Bridge now, that's for sure. Now, if you're a numbers person listening to this, you'll want to know that the main span of the bridge is 1,300 feet long, amazing, 106 feet wide, and 175 feet high. Just don't look down. In 2009, Jacksonville City Council approved an ordinance that allowed JTA to install bus shelters that featured advertising panels as a way to offset the cost of buying more shelters. Well, JTA committed itself to building on its shelter inventory by adding a minimum of 50 new shelters a year to stops all across the city. The authority has kept that promise, and this month, the latest batch of shelters is being installed in high ridership areas like Blanding Boulevard and outside the new county courthouse. 27 new shelters have arrived and are being installed, with 25 more still to come. That commitment continues. These latest additions will push the JTA shelter total to more than 440. And back with Mr. Ford now. Amenities like shelters, you just can't have too many of them. I mean, just think about the weather here in Florida. It's so unpredictable. Rain most afternoons, and then, of course, the sun beating down on you. Shelters are a good thing.
No, I think they're critical, and I think our current practice, which is tying them to advertising, it's a good way to get started. But I think going into the future and looking into the future, the 50 minimum is a minimum. We need to provide more passenger amenities out there. Our customers expect it, and they deserve it.
Coming up next on Making Moves, the transition is complete. Meet the team assembled to forge a new future for the JTA. Then later, how innovation is just one spark away. We'll explain.
Finding a job is great. Finding a career, even better. The JTA is currently hiring part-time bus operators. These jobs offer a great opportunity for full-time advancement. If you're at least 23 years old, have a high school diploma or equivalency, a commercial driver's license, and a clean driving record, then we want to hear from you. All qualified candidates receive additional paid training. To start on your path to future success with the JTA, visit us online at jtafla.com and learn more about this and all our open positions.
We live in a global community where information can be delivered instantly. But having access to information and getting accurate information don't necessarily go hand in hand. That's where we come in. We are Making Moves, the First Coast's premier source for transportation news. At Making Moves, we strive to deliver timely, reliable, and pertinent information about the transportation stories that affect our community. From transit to roads, we've got it covered. Making Moves, now on Facebook.
Welcome back to Making Moves. On our last show, we showed you how JTA is undergoing a total reorganization, including a new leadership team. So now we wanted to introduce our viewers to the new team that Mr. Ford put together and find out a bit more about the people that will help forge a new transportation identity here in Jacksonville. We are back with Mr. Ford at this time. First of all, what was your goal when you assembled this new team?
Well, I wanted to have a team that, one, was the best I could find, the best that Jacksonville could attract and recruit, the JTA could attract and recruit, and I believe we've done that.
Okay, first of all, let's talk about your new chief of staff, Mr. William Mosley, attorney.
Yes, Bill Mosley, he's I think a great strategic thinker. He believes in urban development and revitalizing downtown areas. He will serve as our chief of staff, and Bill, I think, will help to serve as the glue in terms of a very dynamic team to make sure we continue to stay on point and focused on the goals and objectives of the JTA.
Okay, then you have a new vice president of long-range planning and system development, but he's really not new.
Right.
We know him, Brad Thoburn. He's been with JTA, and he was our director of strategic planning since 2010.
And what I hope to do with this position and with Brad's leadership is to knit together our planning as well as our construction activities. So we have cradle to grave handling of our projects so that plans don't sit on the shelf, that we take those plans off the shelf, and he will be responsible to make sure that we implement on those long-range plans.
Again, so important to what JTA is trying to do.
Right.
One of your 4 key goals and initiatives was improving both external and internal communications.
Right.
Your new Vice President of External Affairs is Alice Tolbert Cannon. So take on that responsibility. Tell us a little bit more about her.
Oh, Alice is fantastic. I had the opportunity to work with her back in Atlanta, and she's a clear champion of external affairs. There's never enough community outreach for her. She has great media relations and skills, and in her past has had the opportunity to work very closely in terms of the Olympic efforts in Atlanta and in Los Angeles when she worked for the Los Angeles Metro system.
A lot of experience there.
That's right.
Then you have someone else, Henry Lee. He's the new Vice President of Finance and Administration. He's your CFO.
That's right.
Tell us about him from Hampton Roads.
From Hampton Roads, Virginia. Henry, his responsibility will be the pure financial responsibilities of our very large budget. And that's always a challenge to maintain a budget in a transit environment. And then he has the added responsibility of administration. So we took the opportunity to merge those 2 functions together, again, streamlining the leadership of the organization and make sure that we have clear accountability in those areas.
And that's something that he was doing in Hampton Roads.
It's the exact same job in Hampton Roads.
Okay. Then there is Michael Sloan. He's the new Vice President of Compliance and Risk Management. Who is Michael Sloan?
Well, Michael Sloan is going to be responsible for compliance and risk management, making sure that we comply with all local, state, and federal regulations, as well as ensuring that the JTA is a safe and secure organization in terms of for our customers as well as for our employees. Mike's responsibility is to make sure that we have a very safe environment in terms of and protect all of our assets and equipment and people to make sure that we have a very safe organization.
Excellent. And last but not least, the new Vice President of Transit Operations comes from just a couple hours away, down 95 from Lynx.
All right.
And that is Lisa Darnell.
Well, we're happy to have Lisa on board. Lisa has 30 years of experience working in public transportation. She's worked in Baltimore with the Baltimore, Maryland Transit agency there. She also, again, you mentioned Lynx right down the road in Orlando, and the great thing about Lisa is she has a background in customer service. So she started out in the business in customer service and then picked up the technical expertise to run a large bus operation. So we're very happy to have her on board, and it's great that she's a local girl.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Very diverse
Yes.
is your team. It sounds very impressive. So what are you looking most forward to?
I'm looking most forward to working with these individuals to bring to Jacksonville and the Northeast region a transportation organization that can be relied upon for the best-in-class customer service, best-in-class service delivery in terms of our operations, and best in class in terms of road and bridge design as it's needed in the future. So we have assembled the best. We have some more work to do in terms of continuing with our restructuring, but we're ready to roll.
Okay, a lot of energy.
Great deal of energy, and that's a good problem to have.
Okay. When Making Move returns, ride the Skyway and explore your creative mind. How JTA is supporting a week-long event of art, science, music, and innovation. Find out more right after this.
Finding a job is great. Finding a career, even better. The JTA is currently hiring part-time bus operators. These jobs offer a great opportunity for full-time advancement. If you're at least 23 years old, have a high school diploma or equivalency, a commercial driver's license, and a clean driving record, then we want to hear from you. All qualified candidates receive additional paid training. To start on your path to future success with the JTA, visit us online at jtafla.com and learn more about this and all our open positions.
Imagine taking a gondola ride through the canals in Venice, experiencing the breathtaking magnificence of the Eiffel Tower, or riding a legendary double-decker bus through the streets of London. For most of us, these are just dreams that will never come true, but they could. Think about saving hundreds, even thousands of dollars a year by doing one simple thing: parking your car and taking JTA instead. Save money, ride JTA, and make your dreams a reality.
You're watching the award-winning Making Moves, North Florida's premier source for transportation news and information.
Downtown Jacksonville is ground zero for a first-of-a-kind festival that's shaking things up before it even gets started. It's called One Spark. If it comes off according to its plans, this particular spark might ignite an explosion of creativity that launches Jacksonville onto the world stage. Making Moves' Terry Casey explains.
The Jacksonville area is big on festivals, and a festival the likes of which the city has never seen is about to blow in like a hurricane.
Well, I think One Spark is one of those unique moments in time for Jacksonville.
Douglas Eng is an artist and photographer born and raised in Jacksonville and one of hundreds of so-called creators who have signed up for One Spark.
Once the concept was communicated and we all understood kind of what the deal was, then it's sort of a no-brainer to sign up and try to come up with something for it.
So what's this really all about? What is the deal?
The deal really is to be able to take a project that you've been thinking about, and I think everyone has their own sort of personal projects that they always wish they could do, but they never had either the funding or the audience.
And that is where One Spark comes in.
One Spark is the world's first live crowdfunding festival.
Elton Rivas is executive director and a co-founder of the 5-day event that kicks off April 17th.
That brings creators from all walks of life, so art, music, science, technology, to showcase their most amazing projects.
It's happening in a 1.5 square mile area where creators will compete for a slice of $250,000 decided by public vote.
So if a creator gets 10% of the vote, they get 10% of that crowd fund. But the real kicker and unique point of differentiation with One Spark is that we're also providing the public with the ability to contribute directly to creators in any amount. So you can vote for someone, but you can also contribute to the project to help bring that project to life. So that's One Spark.
Think of it as an art walk on steroids, and I mean uber steroids.
Terry Lawrence ought to know she heads Downtown Vision, which among other things puts on the highly successful downtown art walks.
It is going to bring approximately 15,000 people downtown each day. It will involve over 500 creators from 15 different countries.
And she says put Jacksonville in a new light, attracting the arts, more people, and new businesses downtown. Plus, a 5-day economic impact some say may reach $20 million.
I see One Spark as being a great coming out party for downtown Jacksonville.
JTA will add its own artistic flair to One Spark. The authority is working with event organizers to display art installations at its Skyway stations, like the one here at Hemming Park, where some of the action will be. Now, we all know what event traffic will be like, so JTA will have these Skyway trains running throughout the 5-day festival to help you get around downtown.
Chances are you'll see Douglas Eng and a concept of his idea.
The whole urban landscape has just really changed in terms of the empty storefronts, the boarded up windows.
Eng wants to change our perception of that with creative, carefully placed images.
So that not only we could create visual interest downtown, but give people an idea of what's around them anyway. I want to build some connectivity between the experience that someone would have walking downtown and being able to view different elements of nature, to be able to find something more interesting downtown than just boarded up windows and empty storefronts.
One Spark, like other festivals, will be fun, exciting, and good for the economy. But One Spark adds some new layers. And who knows? Maybe a dream or two will come true. In downtown Jacksonville, Terry Casey for Making Moves.
Along with running extended Skyway hours, JTA is also providing free parking for users during that festival. Well, 10 new bus and shuttle operators have hit the road after completing JTA's extensive classroom and on-the-road training program. The new operators were recently recognized during a graduation ceremony at the JTA boardroom. They joined 42 other operators who have joined the JTA since the beginning of the new year. Time now for the last word. Today's last word is rodeo. Each year, the best of JTA's 350 bus operators test their driving skills and knowledge at the annual bus rodeo. The winner then takes on top drivers from around the state. Well, last year's defending local champion Ramon Farfan went on to win the international competition in Long Beach, California. So the question is, could Farfan repeat as local champion and renew his quest for another international title, or would JTA have a new champion? Well, after a tough day of competing, this year's champion operator, Ramon Farfan. So it appears the best just keeps getting better. Congratulations to Ramon and good luck at the state competition. And speaking of the State Bus Rodeo, for the first time since 2007, this year's event will be held right here in Jacksonville. We'll have those results and all of the highlights on our next program, so be sure to look out for that. And back with Mr. Ford now. You know, it's always a great competition locally, but to have the state rodeo here, what does that mean for JTA?
Oh, I think that's great. It gives us home court advantage, and we have the international champion as representing the JTA, and so we hope that Ramon Farfan can bring it back home again, and then we will root for him at the international competition in Indiana later this year.
Wouldn't that just be so wonderful if he can take it right here in his hometown?
Exactly, and while we're going to be great hosts to the other I believe 13 other transit agencies from Florida that are participating. We will have best wishes for Ramon in his efforts.
That's right, our hometown boy. Congratulations again, and go Ramon. And that wraps up this edition of Making Moves. Thanks so much for joining us. Remember, if you missed any part of the show or just want to watch it again, complete episodes of Making Moves are always available online at jtafla.com and on our YouTube channel, JTA 904. And you can also get exclusive web-only content on our Facebook page, so be sure to check that out on facebook.com/JTA Making Moves. For Nat Ford and the entire Making Moves team, I'm Joyce Morgan Danford. We'll see you the next time we're Making Moves.